Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the second AutoML conference on behalf of all the chairs. Yesterday, we had a very short intro for the industry day. Today, we'll have a more extensive intro where all the, many of the chairs will present parts of the conference. So, yeah, I'm not going to go through this entire list because there's really a big team of organizers behind, but yeah, huge thanks to everyone involved in any way, shape, or form to make this conference what it is. So this is the second time we have the AutoML as a conference. As a reminder, we founded the conference last year following 8 years of AutoML workshops at ICML and also many related workshops such as the BaseOpt workshop series at NeurIPS and also the Meta Learning workshop at NeurIPS, a long series of 8 times of Meta Learning workshops, NAS workshops at iClear, many other workshops by other organizers at IJCAI, AAAI, KDD, etc. And there was this risk of fragmentation of the community, and we formed AutoML really as this overarching conference for all of these topics to bring people together in all of these topics. Now the conference is really fully established. We have 310 attendees. We have 180 people registered in person and another 130 online. And we're really aiming for high quality papers at the level of NeurIPS, ICML, and iClear. And this is also something that we did get as feedback from the last conference. We did a survey. People said, yeah, it's at the level or maybe slightly above. And in terms of reproducibility, it's clearly above all of these. So this is what we are striving for, and it appears like we are achieving it. So this is awesome. Give yourself a hand. Next year, we will also have AutoML. This is already planned or in planning. Marius Lindauer here in the first row will be general chair. So after 2 years of general chairing, I'll pass on the baton to get some fresh blood. And yeah, Marius will talk a lot more about that in the closing session. Why did we form AutoML again? So there's this, well, in order to really be this overarching conference across these different fields. But why do we need this, not just NeurIPS, ICML? Well, really the benefits of this more focused conference can be that there's just a higher density of papers that feel relevant. There was also in the exit survey last time, there were a lot of people saying, wow, it just feels like every poster I go to, I can relate to, there's something interesting I can take away from it. There's directly source code I can execute, I can directly piggyback on that and do my next project. Also more informed reviews because it's just a closer, tighter community where people are more informed. We want to exploit the synergies of the different parts of AutoML. So for example, you know, if there's this paper on Bayesian optimization, then you can directly take it to improve your NAS method or your HPO method. Meta learning and in-context learning and foundation models, they're actually really closely related, and having all of that research in one place is very useful. LLMs, of course, are a big topic these days, and they can enable automated data science, as we've already seen in some of the talks in the industry day yesterday, yield better user interfaces, so really bridge the gap from our AutoML tools to the user. On the reverse side, we can use traditional HPO method, NAS methods, etc., for AutoML, for LLMs, optimize them. In particular, the fine-tuning of LLMs, that's all like basically multi-objective AutoML. So if people are telling you, oh, these days it's all LLMs, we don't need AutoML, that's definitely not true. If we want to do fine-tuning, clearly you already want to do that. And also, you know, how do you set the hyperparameters of pre-training LLMs, etc. That's you know, multi-fidelity HPO, etc. So there's a lot of possibilities of exploiting these synergies. Also, at AutoML, we hope that you will build a tighter network. You will definitely see many familiar faces at the AutoML conference every year. We've already run these workshops for 8 years, and it's great to just build up a circle of, over time, friends. You come to a conference and you meet your friends that you haven't seen for a year. So that's what we're striving for with this conference. And indeed, many of the organizers, like Roman as one of the PC chairs, was one of the first people I co-organized BaseOpt with in 2011 as the first workshop that we did together. And it's really, the BaseOpt community was really nice and was the first part of this community that came together. And yeah, we're continuing that. We did a lot of things new this year, so that was a lot of work. I'm kind of happy that Marius is taking this over, but I think now we're really, yeah, we have converged on, well, from my side, where we wanted to get. I'm sure there's more things Marius will add next year, but in terms of really having a comprehensive conference, I think we've really achieved that. So we have the Industry Day, we had that yesterday, to build bridges between academia and industry, and the feedback I've gotten was very positive, that people were surprised about the high level of quality of the talks, and also really building a joint understanding between academia and industry. Let's see how long it will take for academia to actually tackle the problems that people from industry were emphasizing yesterday. But over the next years, I think this will really help bridge the gap a little bit. Also new this year, we are now really embracing hybrid participation this year. Why? There's two considerations behind that. One is sustainability, CO2 output of flying across the Atlantic and so on. So we wanted to enable people who can't come also, so that as a diversity and inclusion measure, you can, like, from anywhere in the world, you can participate. And in particular, for students, the first 100 online student registrations were free. And, well, we just surpassed this. Now we're at 110. We just left it open. So it's free for students to attend online. And so, yeah, I think that really can help to, yeah, to also broaden the community, but also to yeah, help underrepresented members of the community. And in terms of, you know, if you have a young child and you can't travel, it's also a diversity measure, then it's good that you can attend from home. At the same time, of course, like for the first time, we really wanted people to come in order to start building this community, and we might alternate, or we'll think about that, how to handle this in the future. All right, the ABCD track is new this year. Last year we had sort of two subcategories of the main track, where it was research papers and systems papers, and that was highly confusing to people because the systems papers were non-anonymous and the research papers were anonymous. This year it's properly split into a research track and an ABCD track, and Joaquin will talk more about the ABCD track later. And also, yeah, sorry, embracing hybrid participation we'll hear more about by the online chairs. Reproducibility reviews we had last year, but sort of half-baked, and this year it's really fully executed now for all the papers, and Leonard will briefly talk about that later. And in the journal track, we now have a collaboration with TMLR, where yeah, that the PC chairs will also talk about a bit more later. This schedule you can't read. The only important thing is the legend. I just want to emphasize plenary sessions, that's the white stuff. There's not that much, and that's on purpose. Really, we're trying to emphasize interaction. These blue things here are coffee breaks and poster sessions, so there's lots of poster sessions where you talk to each other, and there's lots of social time, the dark blue stuff. And about the exact parts of the schedule, we'll see as we go. We have amazing keynote speakers. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have Mihaela here. She'll actually give the talk right after the intro. We have Eitan Bakshi from Meta talking about Bayesian optimization, Esteban Real talking about NAS, Madeleine Udell about AutoML systems and meta-learning, and Haeyeon Lee also about neural architecture. So did I say Esteban talks about NAS? No, I know him as a NAS person, but he's more talking about learning learning algorithms from scratch, using evolutionary algorithms. And so, yeah, really high quality talks that we can look forward to. We also have 3 panel discussions. We already had one yesterday in the Industry Day, bridging the gap between AutoML, academia, and industry. But the 3 panel discussions that we have in the main conference, they really try to capture the modern AutoML the connection to LLMs, so, and to alignment and trustworthiness, and also more automated data science in order to bridge the gap further to industry. A huge thanks to all our sponsors. We couldn't do this without the sponsors, and that is one of the things I want to work even more on for next year, to increase the set of sponsors, because, well, in this year there were a lot of layoffs and so on, and then other funding went to LLMs, and not so much funding was left for conferences and so on. So, but next year I think that will be even more. So if you have industrial contacts, or you work an industrial partner yourself, please do let me know. Maybe we can have a partnership in the future. And actually, I do want to say a little bit about each of these sponsors. So Alice, we have an Alice unit at Freiburg, and there's an Alice unit here in Potsdam. They were main sponsors of this conference in order to really have this diversity and outreach of having this hybrid poster session. Renting all the big screens was actually a large cost, and also the gather town and all that stuff. So that's a big thanks to Alice. Alice is a European laboratory on learning and intelligent systems, and they have a PhD program that is aiming to be the PhD program for machine learning in Europe. So you don't apply just, well, so you think about, do I apply to MIT or do I apply to Alice? And Alice is sort of all of Europe. There's, now over, like there were 17 founding Alice units, and now it's even many more. And you have to be 3 months abroad to go to another Alice unit to really have interaction. There's over 1,000 students already in this PhD program. Gold sponsors. Abacus, we heard about yesterday from Bindu Reddy and Collins from Abacus. They're doing amazing stuff, bringing AutoML to end users. Amazon is a amazing partner in AutoML. They do a lot. AutoGluon is open source, but also there's lots of open source in hyperparameter optimization and so on. So it's great to have them on board. In fact, they're sponsored twice. Amazon SageMaker is also one. Google DeepMind has done amazing work in AutoML with Quark Lee's group and other groups. And we have Esteban Real telling us a bit more about that. Bosch has done a lot of great work in neural architecture search for hardware awareness and really bringing it into products and sensors and so on. For Paradigm is a company that really uses AutoML internally in order to get, to be faster in developing products. Meta does a lot of stuff in machine learning, but also a lot of cool stuff in AutoML, in particular, all the work by Eitan, for example, but also other work inside of Meta. And Anaconda, they actually recently partnered with Excel or with Microsoft to have Anaconda run Python in Excel. And so they can write, for example, scikit-learn in Excel, and they're super excited about actually running AutoML inside of Excel. In terms of broad sponsors, Boson AI is Alex Smola's new startup, the Industrial AI podcast. Robert Weber is here and might actually do some episodes about some of the stuff that's happening here. And Global is a new startup on AutoML. All right, with that, thanks again to all the sponsors, and I pass over to the program chairs. Thanks.
Hey, I'm Colin. I'm the first program chair, and I'll be talking about some goals and statistics from the conference. So yeah, as Frank said, we wanted to have very high quality papers with the level at least on ICML, NeurIPS, and iClear. We thought that this was a success last year, and so we wanted to continue it this year. But also crucially, unlike NeurIPS, ICML, and iClear, we wanted to have less noise in the review process. So we accomplished this by giving lots of reviews to each paper, on average 4.5 reviews for each paper, and also having a more targeted audience or a targeted set of reviewers who had more AutoML specific experience. And then a couple other goals that we had. One is embracing open source. So we think that modern science is strong because collaborations and building upon other work is a tenet of modern science, and so we made it mandatory to open source the code for each paper. And finally, sort of similar to the previous point, we wanted to ensure reproducibility of all papers. So Leonard will be talking about this in the next couple slides. We had reproducibility reviews for the tracks of the conference. Okay, and so we thought that we were successful in all these goals, in high quality and having open source and reproducible papers. So in the main track, yeah, so we had 4 tracks overall. So in just the main track, there were already 76 submissions. And yeah, some of them desk rejected or withdrawn. And overall, we had 20% accepted, 20 accepted, which is a 26% acceptance rate. But removing the desk rejects, it's 33%. And then the workshop track, we had 10 submissions and 8 accepted. And then plus an additional 10 papers invited from the conference and ABC tracks. Okay. And now I'll hand it off to Alexandra.
Thanks, Colin. Hi, everyone. I'm Alexandra. So journal track is new this year, and the idea behind it was that there is a body of work that's being published, right, in journals and so on, and the main goal one of the main goals for this conference is to bring the community, have the comprehensive view of what is going on in the field. So in order to bring that research, we decided to have a journal track and basically send a call for participation for any work that was being published in journal related in AutoML. So what was added to the journal papers then, because this community and conference cares about the open source and reproducibility, so reproducibility review was added to the papers that were submitted. And out of 11 submissions, we had 9 accepted, 1 was rejected because it was out of scope, and 1 for the other reasons. I do want to highlight that we have collaboration with TMLR journal for the AutoML certification. So the papers that are candidates from the TMLR that were published in the last year or so received the review and will get then certification that says, hey, this is kind of verified by the AutoML community as being a high quality paper. So it brings the value of TMLR papers as well. And we'll talk, there was a main chair, Frank mentioned this is the year that we kind of have the comprehensive, basically, setup of the conference that you kind of wanted to see, and that includes main track, journal track. We'll hear more about the reproducibility reviewers and the workshops and so on, and that does not happen on its own. So Ying-Jae Miao, who could not be here, was a workflow chair, and he made it all happen with the open review, and I just want to kind of give a public shout out for him because it's an invisible role, and he made it happen. And now I'm going to give it to Leonard.
Morning, I'm Keen van Schoren, to Eindhoven and OpenML. And so the ABCD track is a new track this year, which was built on experience with the NURBS datasets and benchmarks track, JMLR, MLOS track, and so on, giving equal visibility and impact to those works that either do applications, right, building robust tools that work well in practice. This is inspired by the JMLR MLOS, machine learning open source track, and so similar papers in AutoML could be submitted to this track. Then there are benchmarks to help measure progress and data sets to help explore unexplored areas that we should focus more on and build better algorithms for. So that's inspired by the NURBS datasets and benchmarks track. And challenges to make rapid progress on key challenges. That's inspired by, for instance, the NURBS challenge track. And those could be either challenges that you did and you want to report on, or it could be new ideas for challenges and so on. So together, these form A, B, C, and D, and the idea behind it is that these are the foundations of research that happens afterwards, or leading up to these, in both directions. And because of this, we want to make this equal to the main track. And that first of all requires that we are equally stringent on the quality of the papers and also the reproducibility. But we also made some changes. One change is that we allow single blind submission. Why? Because, for instance, if you build a data set, it's super hard to make it anonymous. Right? You have to host it somewhere. It's almost impossible to make that anonymous. So it's allowed to do a single blind submission. And we focus on impact rather than algorithmic novelty. So we tell reviewers to look at those aspects. And you will see at this conference, it will be on par with the other main track papers in the talks and the posters, in the proceedings and so on. This year, we got 4 papers accepted in the ABCD track with about a 50% acceptance rate and 1 in the workshop track. And I hope you will enjoy these papers. With that, I'll hand it to you.
Yeah, hello everyone. This year we also had reproducibility reviews similar to last year, but this time there were a separate role in Open Review with a separate form and much more thought behind it, allowing us to really have dedicated reviewing processes for reproducibility in all conference tracks. And really to just reiterate this, the main idea here was that we want them to verify the replicability of code and results. That is, we want to make sure that if someone submits a paper with code, the code runs and produces the results presented in the paper. Or if the experiments were too large, we simply made sure that a minimal example is reproducible. And in essence, what we were looking for is the ultimate stamp of approval in computer science. It works on my machine. And we have some insights on how this worked. So the key takeaways are, if you look at the main journal ABCD track, we can proudly report that all accepted papers with code made their code public, and you can download that from Open Review or any other source. So that worked out very well, and we achieved one of our goals set initially. For the workshop track, we have 89% of the papers that were accepted or invited made their code public. Here, some authors decided to withhold the code until they publish a long paper of the workshop paper. And generally, what we were able to see is that we have high reproducibility related or correlated to huge strengths in terms of the reviewing process. While if you had really low reproducible code, this usually had a huge, or was seen as a huge weakness in the reproducibility process. And generally speaking, we also saw that in discussions during the rebuttal with reproducibility reviewers, we often ended up with improving the reproducibility of a submission, making the code in general much better. And finally, I just would like to thank all reproducibility reviewers for taking the time to make this possible. So thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Roman with some concluding remarks from the program chairs. We had some good international coverage. So this is showing where the papers that were submitted to the conference were for all the tracks. We've got representation of every continent with the exception of Africa, as we've got room to grow in the future. But it's a great start for a conference so young for sure. We also have some best paper awards in order to avoid any possible conflict of interests. We appointed an independent committee with two of our keynote speakers, Eitan and Esteban, and then also Willy Neiswanger at Stanford. We really gave this committee broad latitude to determine the process for determining these awards and even the number of awards and how the awards were structured, et cetera. We asked them to evaluate the 24 papers in the main and ABCD track as one large candidate pool with no differentiation among the papers otherwise. The committee set up a goal, which was to identify works from these two tracks with the most potential to benefit the broader AutoML community, broadly defined. So this could be through new frameworks or new algorithms or new benchmarks, et cetera. There was quite a lot of room there for defining this impact or benefit to the community. And so guided by the reviews, the author responses, the reproducibility reviews, they had access to open review. They selected a short list for additional feedback and then debates, and finally came to a consensus on 2 shared awards, which I'm happy to announce. These papers will also be presented in a special session this afternoon. So the first award, so the committee decided to award 2 awards, co-awards, so I shouldn't say the first, the second. The arbitrarily first announced award, Best Paper Award, is for the paper Exploiting Network Compressibility and Topology in Zero-Cost NAS, to the authors Li-Chuan Xiang, Roscoe Hunter, Minghao Xu, Lukas Dudziak, and Hong Kai Wen. And then the second, again, arbitrarily ordered, is for the paper Better Practices in Domain Adaptation to Linus Eriksson, Da Li, and Timothy Hospitalis. So we've got some nice certificates to present, and they will be, again, presenting their work in a special session later this afternoon. Yes. Congratulations to the authors of the Best Paper Award winners. Finally, I want to comment on the poster sessions. We, in the interest of inclusion, including worldwide and promoting hybrid participation, we decided to structure the conference to have 3 poster sessions where the first and second poster sessions are split between afternoon and morning. So there's the first poster session will be the Wednesday afternoon, and then Thursday morning, and then the second poster session Thursday afternoon and Friday morning. This gives like kind of maximal coverage of time zones to promote online participation. Between those 2 sessions, the assignment to the sessions was more or less arbitrary, except that I tried to seek balance in topics and tracks representation in those 2 sessions. And then the third poster session will be on Friday. That's going to contain the workshop and competition posters. All of these will be presented via this very fancy screen setup using GatherTown, et cetera, to, again, facilitate and promote hybrid participation. With that, I'm going to hand off to the tutorial chair. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, wonderful welcome also from my side. It's great to see so many of you here and also some new faces compared to yesterday. That's really awesome. With tutorials this year, like similar to last year, we follow one main goal, namely to have easy-to-follow overviews of recent trends, fast-moving topics, and hands-on sessions, future challenges, everything that we think is really interesting for a tutorial, right? And I'm very happy to announce that I think we have really an awesome lineup with topics on hyperparameter optimization, LLMs, like the big topic this year, right? Meta-reinforcement learning even, algorithm configuration, and meta-learning itself in combination with HPO. When I took over this role, I was like, yeah, this is a nice job. It's not too much work, but it's really, really important work. Man, was I wrong. Choosing like really the tutorials from all of the awesome submissions was a tough job that we did together with the program chairs. But I think we achieved that. We even squeezed in 2 more tutorials than last year to really make sure that you have a nice set to choose from. And I think that's going to work really well. We're also looking for tutorials next year, right? So there's some hint already to next Friday where Marius will announce some details. So if you're interested in submitting, please consider that. I think it's going to be really cool next year. We'll have 2 main sessions, namely one in the morning from 11 to 12:30 and one in the afternoon from 2:30 to 4 p.m. with like 3 parallel tutorials each. And they're all in this building here. One is always in this room and the other 2 are in the other rooms. They're basically in the rooms like HS1, 2, 3 as they're ordered in the sessions. All right, with that, I'd like to hand over to the local chairs.
Yeah, Aaron was going to do this, but he's not feeling well, so I'll briefly cover this. The location has basically this building with HS1, that's this, where we have keynote, tutorials, and best paper talk, and HS2 and 3 over there, where is other tutorials. There's also the main building where you registered. We'll have the roundtable lunch there and also in the foyer here and outside. Poster sessions will be only in the main building, and the reception tonight will also be in the main building. For the poster session, we have 6 rooms in that main building. On the ground floor, there's 3 rooms. On the second floor, so there's the first floor, there's nothing. On the second floor, there's 2 poster sessions. On the third floor, there's 1 large area, the D space. The room number for each poster is listed on our website. So if you look for a particular poster, then just look on the website, but you can also just go through these 6 different rooms. To find out where your poster is, well, you go to this website. In this room, there's different screens. Pick one. There's exactly as many posters in the room as there is screens. How do you present on these screens? So go to GatherTown and navigate to your poster that's already in GatherTown. If you're the one person that hasn't submitted your poster to the online experience chairs, please do so. You can also screen share and show demos and so on in GatherTown. GatherTown links are on our website, which everything has this password, AUTOML23, no space. Some miscellaneous items. In the main building, there is these big stairs. Please do not take food up and down these stairs to avoid spillage and the next person falling. Travel marks are okay. Wi-Fi information is as listed, but it's also the QR code on the doors. Next up, social chairs.
Hi, and yeah, welcome from Matthias and me. We're the social chairs, and yeah, we're here to make sure that you have a good time. So conference is all about learning and meeting your people, and sometimes you get the advice that you should make 10 or X new connections at a conference, which can be very daunting. And a conference should also be a great experience. So we want to make sure that you get the best out of it, that you have fun and meet new people. So we designed the social program such that you have plenty of opportunity to talk to each other and have fun. So I will talk about things that will happen every day. So first of all, we do have the roundtable lunch every day. So for that, we selected 7 topics, and we will announce them via Discord, but you'll also find them on the website and outside on the tables, which means that when we have lunch, you can just go to a table that has an interesting topic for you and enjoy lunch while discussing with other people that share the same interests. New this year is that we have everyday topics that are dedicated to special sessions, mostly tutorials. So if you want to continue discussions, you can go to these tables. But we also do have one table each day that's dedicated to a specific career stage. So if you want to meet other PhD students that are about to finish, there will be a table for that. And another thing is, you might have discovered that already, downstairs in this building, in the basement, there is a social space. So if you feel like you need a break, you can play table soccer or table tennis in the basement with others. And with that, I will hand over to Matthias.
Hi, also welcome from my side. So first of all, this evening we'll have the reception that, as Frank mentioned, will be in the main building. There will be some light snacks and drinks, and it'll last for about an hour. So you have plenty of time to go to Berlin afterwards to have some dinner there. To make sure that you also have some new friends when going there, we will have the research speed dating prior to that. That'll start at 6 p.m. We'll have an explanation in the final session today, or at the end of the final session today, so you know what you're up to and what you're supposed to do. The weather forecast looks good for tonight, for the evening, so we'll probably do it outside and have a nice atmosphere there. Yes, so tomorrow then we'll follow the tradition of the AutoML conference, and we'll have a dinner cruise. So follow us afloat on the lovely seminar ship, which will bring us to the city of Berlin. It'll leave around 6 p.m., but we have to get there, and there will be buses picking us up here, and we'll walk together from the foyer of this building to the buses to make sure that everyone arrives there. Please don't be late, because the buses won't be able to wait for us, and it would be a pity if you missed this great event. It'll take about 4 hours to get to Berlin, so the ship will drop you off around 10 p.m., and there will be dinner and drinks included, obviously. So after the conference, if you feel like that was enough yet, there will be a meetup organized by the AutoML seminar. It'll be at the Holzmarkt in downtown Berlin, or I think the eastern part of Berlin. It's a really nice place. It's a social market space, has a beer garden in there and so much more, so definitely check it out. As I said, it's organized by the AutoML seminar, which is a bi-weekly seminar for automated machine learning. It runs online. It has some great speakers, great lineup, so it's a great way to stay up to date with the literature. And if you want to know more, you can talk to Aaron Arbor, who I haven't seen, or Jovita, who is sitting up there, to learn more about that. Or check the website, automl-seminars.github.io. Since there was a lot of information, we just put everything again on one slide, so you can see it. We have the breakfast roundtable and coffee breaks every day. Tonight we'll have the research speed dating and the reception. Tomorrow we'll have the dinner on a boat. And on Friday there will be the AutoML seminar meetup in the Holzmarkt. And with that, I'm handing over to the online experience chair.
Hi, I'm Richard. I'm speaking on behalf of all the online experience chairs. So new to this year is that we're embracing online participation much more. Last year, we mainly focused on in-person participation. So a few reasons, right? One is that it was a founding conference, so we needed more physical get-together. And also, therefore, online participation was an afterthought. But this year, we're fully embracing online participation. Why? Because it's more sustainable in terms of things like CO2 emissions, and also for diversity and inclusion for people who could not make it here due to visa issues or parental responsibilities, etc. And how do we do it? Well, we're going to make sure that all sessions are live streamed, and all the online experience chairs will relay online questions, and that the poster sessions are fully hybrid. Yeah. And as for online interaction, so during the industry day, but also including the main conference days, for panels, everyone, including in-person or online, they can ask questions via Slido. And all other sessions, the online folks will post Zoom questions, and these will be relayed by chairs, the online experience chairs such as me or any of the others. And during the main conference, there will also be a lot of hybrid kind of interactions, such as poster sessions, online networking, etc. And so how you can enter the main website for dealing with online participation is that you go into the regular AutoML website, then you press attend, and there will be a online experience tab. And this will go to the Freeburg website. And the password for all websites, as mentioned, is AUTOML23. In addition to the in-person speed dating, we'll also be having an online experience research speed dating, and this will also be hosted in GatherTown alongside all the poster sessions and keynotes and panels. Right? These online research speed dating will be held in Wednesday and Thursday, and will also be available online and on-site. Yeah, and we'll also be hosting Discord for any questions that you might be lingering on your head. And so these hold dedicated channels for things like keynote tutorials, things like that, and allow you to engage in more text-based lively debates. With that, I'll hand this off to Marius.
Yeah, welcome also from my side. It's a pleasure to see you all. I hope you are super motivated today, have awesome 3 days. Of course, it's great that we are here, but if we'd like to grow that community, that conference, to really make that one of the best conferences out there on machine learning and on AI and everything, we have to talk about that, right? To make it really public, visible, and so on, and that's my task this year. And of course, social media is one of the ways to do that, and I hope you will join me in making that a successful event, not only for us, but for everyone also outside. You might know that we have on X, formerly known as Twitter, our AutoML conference account, where we're sharing all kinds of impressions, photos, and so on, everything we get. And of course, I hope that we contribute to that. You're using maybe the conference at AutoML-conf or the hashtag AUTOML23, and you're doing that for us. Of course, you don't only need to do that on Twitter. You can also do it on LinkedIn, on Reddit, on any kind of platform you prefer, but really help us to make that big, to make it successful. Especially, I would say, for the authors, you have an intrinsic motivation that we get a very good ranking with this conference, right? You published here. So you would simply contribute to your own success by doing that. To motivate you even a bit more, what we did already last year, and I would like to do that again this year, I'm making a small competition out of that. Who's doing the most impactful tweet on X? So you have to add the hashtag 23 on that I am able to find you if you really make sure that I don't overlook anything, even mention the Twitter account. And you get a prize, some nice chocolate to really enjoy more than the Friday. You have time until, oh, I missed that. No, it's on the slide. You have time until Friday noon. So Friday noon, 12 a.m., I will simply directly check what I can find, who had the most reposts, likes, and so on. And then at the closing, you get the chocolate, whoever is winning that. Small constraints to that. There should be tweets about the conference, events, whatever you experience here, of course. And secondly, if you're a subscriber on X, of course, you have an advantage. I would like to, or I would simply assume that most of you don't have that, actually. At least what I saw yesterday. So whoever has that is not eligible for a prize because that would not be fair. Good. Last but not least, I have to mention that for legal purposes, of course, we're taking pictures. For example, Define is using the camera right now, but we, of course, using that for the entire event. You were asked at the reception whether it's okay that we take photos. Of course, you can disagree with that. I will always first post the photos in Discord that you can actually check that, whether you are happy with that, and then later on make that really public for everyone, right? I'm very sorry if someone is disagreeing and it's on the photos, simply tell me and we delete that right away, right? We give our best with that. Good. That would be everything from my side. I hope you enjoy that and you will tell everyone that you enjoyed it, right? That's the idea. Good. Next one.
Yeah, hi again. I think following up on what Mario said, it's extremely important that we build a strong community, but also a very happy community. So the diversity and inclusion is very important, but I will keep this short. Be nice to everyone, be polite to everyone, so we can make this a very welcoming and open event. And if there is any issue or anything you want to talk about, feedback, and so on, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thanks, and I will hand back to Frank.
That's a perfect closing. Yeah, let's make this a conference we want to go to every year. Make it an awesome conference, a happy conference. And for that, I would like to declare this year's AutoML conference open. Thank you.